What up, y'all? It's your guy Dawson from D&D TV. Thank you for rating, commenting, and subscribing. Everybody who's donated, those of you all who will, you know I appreciate it. All that information is in the description box below. Make sure you go to my other YouTube channel, Dawson Speaks, subscribe over there, and hit the little bell next to the subscribe button so you get notifications when I drop a new video. Now let's get into this topic. All right, y'all, thanks for clicking on the video. Hope everyone is doing well. Now, this video is for educational purposes, so as I approach this topic with respect, I need you all to please be respectful in my comment section. Thanks. Now, recently I uploaded a video about Andrew Gillum and his wife, his beautiful black queen right there, who's by his side, and Andrew Gillum saying that his wife accepts him for being bisexual, and some of you had a lot to say. Even some women down here where I live, they watched this video and they told me you need to keep the conversation going because many people in the church don't want to believe that there are bisexual people who are married. I was like, what? They was like, yeah, you got to talk about it. Black people who are married, who are bisexual and they're Christians. Take a breath. I know this is going to be a tough one to deal with, y'all, but come on, we got to talk about it. And one lady even told me, she said she's a part of this church and there was a minister that was interested in dating her. And I guess she went out on a date with the man. And however that date was, he started asking her questions like what she could accept and could not accept in a man. And he was asking some tough questions and then he got around the question, could you ever date a man that's been with a man? She got silent. And then he saw that she wasn't speaking and he said, I was just asking. I'm not saying it was me. I'm just asking questions. And she told me she talked with her friends about it. And then she asked me, what do I think about that? And I said, what do you think about it? And she was like, I think the man is bisexual. And I was like, I think the Lord just gave you the gift of prophecy. Go forth, my child, and do the work of the Lord. And some of you all wrote in and you said, Dawson, people keep talking about these men who are bisexual in the church. We need to talk about a lot of these women who are in the church who doing the same thing too. Well, I'm going to read your comments so they can hear what you all have to say about this, all right? Because people seem to think that just because you have an attraction, you have to act on it. And I don't believe that. I think you can be married and still have different attractions and longing for stuff, but the commitment should keep you together if that's who you said you're taking a vow to. Now, that's what I believe. Now, let me read some of your comments. Brother LG Johnson said, a lot of married black men are bisexual. I personally know several couples here in Brooklyn, New York. Oh, come on, man. Why you gonna put Brooklyn, New York out there like that? We all know that some of the most godly, respectable, honorable, righteous men come from Brooklyn, New York. Let me go on. Jarrell David Anderson says, at least he's living in his truth. And Yolanda Martinez says this, we're not a bunch of slaves. She was responding to my comment when I said we're not a bunch of slaves. She said, thank you. So many are burdened and held back and held down by a slave mentality. I hate this word, that it prevents their growth and stunts their thinking. No fault nor blame, it's conditioning. For as many steps forward we've taken, we need to double that to compensate for the steps back. We're progressing, but it's not enough. Okay, Yolanda, I hear you. Now let the brothers speak. Now Pat the trucker says, I've been a trucker for over 22 years and I've seen probably 1,000 or more married men hook up with truckers where we park. Hold up, wait a minute, Pat. Don't come over here messing up my show, Pat. We got family, friends, uncles, and cousins and brothers who are truck drivers. I rebuke that spirit of generalization right now and I send it back to the pits of hell from which it came, never to return again. Pat, don't come over here messing up our show. You gonna mess with these women's head. You know they got brothers and uncles and cousins that are truck drivers. What you trying to do to my show, Pat? Pat the trucker, what you trying to do to my show, man? Pat, you know that truckers, they're hard, they're diesel, they're masculine men. They love football, basketball, Pat. They don't do hair and nails and dance. Come on, Pat. They don't play the violin. What you talking about, Pat? We don't believe it. Oh, man. Pat goes on to say, I don't see much of it anymore now because of the gay apps. It probably happens more now than 20 years ago. The only difference with this couple is that everybody knows about them. True. Pat the trucker, I don't know if you vlog or anything like that, man, but I'm definitely, if you start vlogging and talk about your experiences on the road and all of this stuff, I guarantee you people will listen because people don't want to believe this stuff happens. Now, King B says, we ask people for the truth, and once it's given, people change after hearing the truth. Please, Dawson, keep the conversation fundamental no matter who it may offend. And I agree with you, King B. A lot of people ask for the truth in relationships and friendships and with family members, but sometimes people only want the truth if it doesn't make them feel uncomfortable. Now, Pretty Brown Girl 71 responded to King B and she said, I so agree. What works for them may not work for others. It's okay. I want to see people healthy and happy. Take a breath. Did y'all hear that? That was powerful right there. I want to see people healthy and happy. God made us all unique, beautifully, and perfect. Let's try to be respectful of others' journey. Pretty Brown Girl 71, you need to go ahead and start you a YouTube channel because that's just profound to me. And Mimi Brown went on to say, most people don't want to know the truth. I found that out a long time ago watching that show, Cheaters. Right about that. And someone responded saying, let's be respectful of the truth because lies is what destroys. And Vernice Smith said, I believe that people need to stay out of other people's marriages. If it works for them, leave them alone. He's still an attractive, intelligent man. She's still an attractive, intelligent woman. They seem happy together. Clean your own house. And I agree with that. I totally agree with you, Vernice Smith. And also I want to say, because on the video I did on the Gillums and the first one I did when the scandal first broke out, a lot of people were saying that, RJ only is with him because she settled. And people were saying that he only picked her because, he knew what he was going to do. And look how she looks. She probably couldn't find anybody. And she was just happy to have a person like him. And people went on to attack her looks. People were saying about her features, her jawline, her complexion. And I'm like, what? Come on, y'all. I don't see anything wrong with RJ. And some of these were women, black women who were saying this stuff. I don't see nothing wrong with RJ. Now, if a lot of y'all have problems with our black features and stuff like that, go get therapy, honestly. Now, let me go on. Tidy4 says, people don't realize how many successful people live a life like this. Y'all act like love's supposed to be perfect. And then Karen Butler says, you're right, Dawson. If she's happy with it and that makes their marriage work, then so be it. Let people live their lives how they see fit. Oh, man, the sisters are speaking up. What? Look, Maureen Smith also said, it's not for y'all to judge. We all have relationships. That's nobody's business. And then Yo Willie says, it's more black couples like the Gillums than most are willing to admit. Oh, man, here we go. A woman I know married a husband all the while knowing that he only dated men while they were in college. Take a breath. Oh, man. Yo, Willie, don't come over here messing up my show, man. You know they ain't going to talk about those experimental college years. Y'all know y'all used to hear stuff around campus. And when people got released out of the penitentiary. Look here, let me go on now. But he said, Yo, Willie goes on to say, but she said she loved him, though. She married the man anyway. But I'm making this stuff up. Let me go on. Now, Sister Rosa Orchard said, so they have an open marriage? And she goes on to say, how open is it? Ooh, Rosa, you sound like a freak. How open is it? Can she do the same thing with women or men? What, you trying to shoot your shot, Rosa? Look, Rosa goes on to say, so many questions. This is complicated. This is a complicated situation because I don't believe one can be bisexual. You either prefer the one over the other. What if the outside boyfriend or man wants the wife gone out of the picture? It's too many things that could go left, and I'm afraid for her, but I wish them the best. Now, Forward Thinker says, I remember a guy telling me years ago that his wife knew that he liked men because he told her before they got married. So, of course, they aren't the only ones. Some folks are so naive. There are women who knew their husbands were totally gay but shut their mouths and helped hide it. Especially if he was rich and famous. I remember the Rock Hudson biographer saying that several women came to her and begged her not to name their husbands in her book because they knew their also famous husbands had been with Rock. This stuff has been going on since the beginning of time. If RJ Gillum is cool with it, it's none of my business. I wish them both the best. Now, Karen G., one of my super supporters, says she always knew that he was gay. Whatever works for them. She's suspect too. They have chosen to keep their family together. Fine with me as long as it's not a toxic environment for the kids. Some marriages are not romantic but rather platonic in partnerships. Thanks, Karen. Now, Miss Barlow goes on to say, at least they're happy and working on their unity. I myself wouldn't do it, but hats off to her. And Robin says, good for them. And Cece Ruiz says, you better preach. So many couples like them in the church were both gay and bisexual. People better wake up and stop being willfully ignorant. Some of the same people who called her stupid would gladly take her place. And then El Boogie Awakened said, they phony. Man. Oh, man, I love my subscribers. Let me go on. Now, Brother Sam Moody commented, and he pulled a Tabitha Brown on y'all. He said, that's they business. I love that right there. And Noah Winston said, this is their marriage and nobody's business, even if they are public figures. And Larry K. Watson said, I love your honest, raw commentary. Wonderful. Appreciate that, Larry. And then Miss Jack String said, Lord, anything goes. And Sweet Olives got up in the comments, and she trying to start some stuff today. She said the fact that some people swore up and down that she didn't know that her husband was bisexual because they themselves did not know that their own husband was bisexual. Look, Sweet Olives, get off my show. Don't come over here trying to start no mess. Now, Brother Ned Odin said, it's not important. I'm glad they made it. That was their test and they passed with flying colors. Great job. And I replied, exactly. And then Truthfully Speaking, 007 said, she knew and was okay with this. It's their life. There are many living this reality. The black community in church love to hide and bash. If they are happy, I'm happy for them. It's not for me, but I'm not here to judge or condemn others. Let them live and enjoy life. I love my black people, but we have an issue with being nasty and mean towards others that don't live the way many feel is right. I agree with you 100%, truthfully speaking. Then we have Miss DQ. Miss DQ done came in the comment section and she pulled an Aretha Franklin on us. She said, ain't no way. I mean, it's her business. A lot of women settle in this role. I know a lot of women who are okay with their husbands being bi. I've talked to them, not dated men like this, and I just leave them in the friend zone. I don't want to be worried about my husband sleeping with women and men. Hashtag to merch. Temptation. LOL. Now, Tiandra Sweet Tea says, of course they aren't the only couple. I guarantee she knew and just told him to be careful and safe. Then he ended up getting caught up. Some relationships are arrangements. They are probably just best friends who decided they wanted a family and they can trust each other. True. Tina Robinson says, I say no way to all of this mess. And then Lady Andrews comes and she says his wife wasn't the only one that knew he had plenty of support from his kind. Trust me, it's a beautiful thing that they have chosen to pursue what makes them happy. Whether I agree or not is irrelevant. What matters is the beauty they found in living their authentic selves. Thank you, Lady Andrews. Now, my brother Keani77 says, thank you. People have their own personal relationship and private arrangements. Stop being jealous that he ain't hiding and him and his wife got an understanding while the rest of you are cheating on each other. Your cheating ain't better because it's heterosexual. This ain't nothing but homophobia and heterosexual bias and insecurity. If this was in reverse, most men would be happy saying he's lucky, but because it's not that we know of, it's a problem. By the way, Dawson, wasn't there a black sheriff down there near you who was exposed as a swinger? But I guess most people were okay with that because they presumed that his swinging was heterosexual. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. Out in Broward, our Broward sheriff, a black man, yeah. They tried to bring up a lot of dirt on him and get him fired. But my thing was, hey, that man ain't no pastor. That was in his past. Like, he's doing great up there as a Broward County sheriff. Like, why y'all going in his past to try to say he was a swinger? So what? You know how many people down here in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach in Florida, the United States, are swingers? Get out of here. Let that man keep his job. A Raw Truth and Uncut says, yeah, you revisited this story. Minnie wasn't ready for this type of talk. That was good. And I responded, more to come. And then former Daughter of the Dust said, I believe this black woman has a right to marry and stay married to a gay man if she chooses. So glad I and so many other younger black women no longer look for our identities within the black church or in relationships with black men by any means necessary, it seems. Whoa, soul sister right there. And then Kendall Pink Austin says, as a trans girl and knowing them from church, it is what it is. Okay. Now, Isha B says, a lot of wives be knowing that their husbands be bisexual and or was bisexual before marriage and kids. And then Jacqueline Harris says, thank you for addressing these hidden issues because we as blacks don't address these kinds of issues. I agree. Black people always hide stuff, especially people in the black church. I mean, do you know how many people, and they're only black people, who tell me about my show, oh, we shouldn't talk about this, and even had some family members tell me too. And I tell them, just don't watch. Why don't they want us to talk about real issues? We're supposed to hide issues for another 30 years, knowing that this stuff is going on in the community, and the only thing they could tell us is, oh, just come to the church and lay your burdens on the altar. Oh, run around the church and touch the dough. And when you wake up in the morning, we gonna live in Africa with Jesus, nine forevermore. Like, come on. I don't have time for that crazy talk. All that religious jargon, y'all can keep that mess. People are going through real issues, real life, and y'all still playing them games. Get out of here. Okay, brother Nick Morgan says they're adults and can do what they want. That said, this is why I find the modern black church or church in general a bit odd. I didn't grow up religious, so while I see the possible benefits relating to networking and having a sense of community, I also find those places can be full of, let's just call them, colorful characters. See, people who don't even go to church see all the foolishness inside of the church. Now, the Tendered Soul says, I 100% agree with you on this topic. As long as both parties are aware of what's going on, I see no issue. Some people need to worry about what's going on in their household instead of worried about what's going on in everyone else's household. You better speak. And Deborah said, I agree 100%. This stuff happens in the black church more often than we'd like to openly discuss. Come on now, not all of them are that way, but people need to wake up to the fact that what they think they see while at church is real. We just know not to air our dirty laundry by saying it out loud, so to speak. Now, Sister Betty 8 says, what church folks really can't handle is someone living in their truth. There's all kinds of living lifestyles going on in the church undercover. Wifey knowing what she was getting into and still wanted to be involved, it's her decision. She's the one pulling sheets with the man, so nobody and nothing else matters. Judge your own situation. I'm just saying. All right, now bust it, baby. Bust it, baby. All right. Busset Baby says, I know they are not. As a child, I grew up seeing things and I wondered if people knew that their spouse acted a little wavy. As I got older, I said, yeah, they knew, but they may have been bisexual as well. Marriage is a contract. I've always said to myself, if a person puts a blueprint in front of you and let you know what is going on, I feel there could be a lot of marriages that last longer. It is all about truth and acceptance. They are basically being a beard for the other person or for each other, depending on the situation. All right, Busted Baby. All right, now this is the last comment, you all. I can't read everybody's comment. There's hundreds of comments in there, and I appreciate you all for commenting. Now, this is from Frankie Allen, one of my super supporters. Frankie Allen says, many people cheat in marriage. The spouses forgive and repair the marriage. He happened to cheat with the man. She knew who he was, and she was fine with staying. Hopefully he won't cheat on her again. I don't understand why some people would leave hateful comments because of her decision to stay and be angry about their life. She is not whining about her husband or saying, woe is me, and he's this and that to the public. If you have to constantly do that because you're being cheated on, then you should leave. That's not her case. As long as she can overcome and deal with it, then fine. They seem happy. I agree with you totally. Now, for the rest of you all, get in the comments. Let me know what you think about this video. Until next time, it's your guy Dawson. Take care of yourself and each other. Peace.